Warren is the author of How to Get Your Cat to Do What You Want and How to Get Your Dog to Do What You Want. He's here to answer all your pet and animal questions. And now, Warren Eckstein.
Hey, good morning, everyone, and welcome once again to the Pet Show. Is your bulldog... Oh, before I get started, I'm broadcasting today from Arizona, so I didn't know whether to say good morning or good afternoon. It's 12 o'clock in Arizona or 11 o'clock in Los Angeles, and I'm going to be broadcasting a lot from Arizona, so I'm going to have to get used to this time. But I think next week we'll go back to a regular time. Anyway, welcome to the Pet Show, whether it be morning, afternoon, I don't care. Welcome anyway. Let me start this over again. Is your bulldog acting a little bored? Does your rescued Siamese kitten have you stumped? Have you given up on your little Havanese? Well, if you love animals, care about wildlife and the environment, and I mean truly want to get into your dog or cat's head and understand what they think about your behavior before you try to even understand their behavior, you've come to the right place, because right now, right here, it's time for the Pet Show, America's first and only real pet psychology, pet training, pet behavior, pet lifestyle, pet love. We got it all when it comes to your pets right here on the Pet Show. So hop up on my couch. Bring those furry little buddies with you, folks. It is that time once again to let the animal analyzing begin. Hey, good morning, everyone. I'm Warren Eckstein. This is the Pet Show. The place where we absolutely, positively, never a doubt about it, love, adore, and as I stress every single week, respect pets and animals as much as you do. By the way, if you want to join me on the ever-growing Pet Show family, let's say you have a question about your dog and maybe he's jumping or digging or scratching, or when you say come, he looks at you and says, hey, you talking to me? Or your cat's not using a litter box, hates the new cat that came into the household, doesn't want to come when you call her, scratched your favorite chair, peed on your bed. Get the idea, folks, you know? It's not easy living with those of us that walk upright. Never blame it on the dog or cat, because if you've listened to me for any amount of time, and I've been talking to you guys for a long time, you know, when in doubt, and there's a problem, generally it's caused by those of us that do walk upright. By the way, if you have a question or a comment, I got some great stuff to give away on the show as well. Kitty lickies are back. I got the email today, so I got some kitty lickies to give away, as well as the hugs and kisses to give away, and some of those amazing T-shirts. I actually saw someone in Arizona wearing a None of My Friends Walk Upright T-shirt, and it just makes me smile every time I see those. So I'll tell you more. We'll give some of those T-shirts away. Plenty of time for your calls. I'm broadcasting on YouTube. And for those of you that are my regular YouTube watchers, you may know that I have the worst YouTube in the world, but no more. Check out my YouTube channel right now, and you can actually see what I look like. If that's a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know, but we've really improved our YouTube broadcast. So check it out. We're doing it right now. YouTube.com/Warren Eckstein. YouTube.com/Warren Eckstein. I'll try to answer some questions there as well. Or if you want to give me a call, the phones are wide open right now. The phone number here at the Pet Show, 866-870-KRLA. That's 866-870-5752. Plenty of time for your calls. As I said, lots of great stuff to give away. So if you have a question or you just want to share a great story, and I really encourage that. You know, sometimes people don't realize that just by listening to you or having you call me and say, Warren, let me tell you about this great dog that I adopted, or this dog that helped me get through my teenage years, or this dog that helped me get through a divorce, or the loss of a significant other. Those stories are so critical, not only from my perspective of resolving your issues with your pets, but the people that listen to this show are animal lovers, they're pet lovers, they're people like you and me, maybe a little eccentric, but kind of like you and me. So your stories, your comments, your questions are critically important. So if you have a question or a comment, great time to give me a call. Again, the phone number here at the Pet Show, 866-870-KRLA. Give Suzette a call. Say hello. She's lonely right now. 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752, 866-870-5752. And those people that have normally watched me on YouTube and said, man, what do you think of the new YouTube feed? If you like it, let me know. Send me a little note here. The phone number here, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Okay, here we go. What's coming up on today's show? Of course, I'll be answering all of your pet and animal questions. You know, during the week, I literally speak to tens of thousands of people around the country and really kind of get an insight into what's going on in the world of pets. And I wanted to share this because coming up today, something very important to my heart and something very important to you guys as well, because so many of my listeners, and that's one of the reasons I've been doing this show for 43, 44 years, is the bottom line is your passion, your hearts, your concern. You are amazing people. You have the ability to say, you know what? The world is more important than just about me. I saw that animal on the street. I picked it up. I adopted that cat from a shelter. You guys amaze me every single week. And even when you bring a dog or cat into your household and he has a little bit of an issue or a problem, you come to me and we help it out and you live happily ever after. Here's what's coming up on the show. This is what kind of brought up the conversation. You know, we often hear the term PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. We hear it all the time. And how it affects people that have gone through traumas. You know, over the years, I've worked with a lot of veterans that have suffered with PTSD, and it's very close to my heart. But I started thinking about this. What about animals? What about dogs and cats? And I guess I could qualify horses and other animals as well, but specifically for the show, what about our dogs and cats? Can our dogs and cats suffer with PTSD? And if so, is there anything that can be done about it? You know, people don't talk about this, but my specialty, and I'm not going to pat myself on the back. What I love to do more than anything else in the world, besides all the training and behavior work I've done over the years, is taking a dog or a cat in a situation that was unbearable, horrible, abusive, and watching little by little that dog or cat come around to turn out to be the most incredible dog or cat with the confidence that they have. Those are the things that really make it important. So PTSD, if anyone out there thinks they have a dog or a cat that may have some PTSD or have worked with a dog or a cat that had suffered with PTSD, I'd love to hear from you guys as well. Again, the number 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752, the way to get through. Also coming up on today's show, you know, we often spend a lot of time with our dogs correcting them when they are doing something wrong. But taking the time to connect positively with your dogs will actually encourage positive behavior. Stop telling your dogs no, 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 no all the time. Encourage good behavior. I'll tell you how to do that coming up. And if you encourage good behavior, you don't have to worry about resolving bad behavior. Also coming up on today's show, if you are tired, and I mean really tired, come on, my feline lovers out there. You know I'm talking to you. If you guys have had it with getting up in the middle of the night or first thing in the morning to go into the kitchen to get a glass of water and you're stepping in kitty litter around the litter box because your cat has kicked it all over the place, doesn't make you happy, does it? Why do some cats, it's not all, but why do some cats just make an extremely mess with their litter? We're going to talk about that. I have some reasons coming up and maybe some cures as well. You know you've all done it. I don't know how many times I have used four-letter words. And I don't use four-letter words a lot, but when I got up in the middle of the night, and at one time I had as many as 27 cats at a time. And all litter box trained, by the way, but there was litter on the floor. I'm not denying that. And there were times where I would get up in the middle of the night and just step on litter, and those expletives would come right out of my mouth. Also, again, the number, open phones, you've got a question or comment, 866-870-5752, 866-870-KRLA. That is the way to get through. And if you happen to be new to the Pet Show, let me just tell you, when you call in and I give you a gift, it's not like I'm giving you a jelly bean or a biscuit or a milk bone. Many of the items I give away here on the show, thanks to my amazing sponsors, are worth as many as $25, $35, $40, or even $50. So if you call in and we get to talk with each other, and I like you, a great gift will be on its way to you. Again, that number, 866-870-KRLA. Now, this is also important. This is something that I brought up many, many years ago when I was doing a lot of seminars for shelters and rescues across the country. Especially true for people that have adopted or rescued dogs. And you can make me tear up. Listen to me. How you can be your pet's safe place. Many of the dogs and cats we've adopted and rescued over the years came from horrible situations. There was no sanctuary. There was no place for them to go. Wherever they were, it was horrible. one of the most important things that you can do is become your dog or cat's safe place. We'll talk a little bit later on how you can do that as well. Do you think your dog or cat's safe place? When your dog or cat is stressed out or not feeling itself, does your dog or cat come running to you? Are your dog or cat's safe space? Give me a call, Lefty. I hear from you guys. Shook me up a little because I know, some of the dogs and some of the dogs I've rescued over the years, and cats as well, but some of the dogs I've rescued over the years have been, they've come from situations that are just, I don't talk about them, and maybe I should, just such intense, when I was investigating animal abuse in the state of New York, the entire state of New York, and down into Pennsylvania as well, some of the times I would just walk in there and just not understand how human beings could be like that. I don't get it. And I guess all of those years have really kind of made me who I am and made me commit to what I do every single week. Anyway, as always, plenty of time for your questions and comments. Lots of great stuff to give away. So if your dog is humping, jumping, digging, scratching, your cat's not using a litter box, great time to give me a call. Again, that number 866-870-KRLA. And my question to you guys is, I am an early riser. I am up early in the morning, 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. Warren is up and around. My neighbors just love when I turn the lights on. Anyway, what is your dog or cat's favorite time of day? Is it when you get into bed at night? Is it when you wake up in the morning? What is your dog or cat's favorite time of day? Give me a call. And if we get through, we talk. A great gift will be on its way. Again, that number, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. So a lot of you know I've got a new location, a new home in beautiful Arizona. I'll be back in LA as much as I possibly can. You know that, so I'll be back and forth. But I'm in Arizona at the moment, and everyone's saying, Warren, wait till the summer, wait till the summer, wait till the summer. But it's kind of interesting. It's the people and their pets are different here. The people and their pets are different here. I mean, they love their pets just as much as we do, but it's just different. I'm seeing breeds of dogs that I haven't seen for years. I'm walking in the area where I live, and I'm seeing bearded collies. I'm seeing Keeshonds. I'm seeing Old English sheepdogs, which is one of my favorite breeds. Remember the movie Serpico? Who do you think getting those dogs in the movie Serpico? Yours truly. Anyway, I love Old English sheepdogs, except you got to be careful kissing them at night because they don't have a tail. By the way, do you know why they don't have a tail? I'm going to get to some calls, I promise. I'm in a talkative mood today. I know why dogs don't have a tail. Do you know in England, years ago, if you had a dog with a tail, it was considered a luxury, a working dog, and therefore the government, not unlike ours, put a tax on your dog. So many of the working dogs, like the sheepdogs and the border collies and the bearded collies, again, a great breed of dog, they would dock their tails because if they had a docked tail or no tail, it was considered a working breed, and therefore they didn't have to pay tax on it. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. But that's the true story. So what's your pet's favorite time of day? We'll talk about that. Plenty of time for your calls. I want to know if you consider that, if your pet considers you its safe place. And also PTSD. Has anyone adopted a dog with PTSD or a cat with PTSD and kind of worked through it and saw the other end of the spectrum as the dog or cat came out of it? That's what life is all about. It's seeing the difference. It's seeing that first expression of, whew, I'm home. I'm finally home. That's the expression we all love. Let me do this. Let me take a break. Couple of phone lines open. Usually they're full, so I'm going to give you an opportunity to give me a call while I go to commercial. Louise, Dorothy will get to you. The phone number here, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Now, as I said, I'm broadcasting today from my new location in Arizona, and usually my YouTube, how else can I say it? Alex, what can I say? It sucked, right? It was horrible. I couldn't, the camera. Anyway, we're looking good. Not Brad Pitt good, but we're looking good. So if you want to follow me on my YouTube channel, check it out, youtube.com/Warren Eckstein, youtube.com/Warren Eckstein. We'll broadcast here all the time. Plus the fact there's literally hundreds of videos and tips on my YouTube channel. So check it out. And if it looks a little bare behind me, I haven't had time to decorate yet. So those are just some of my 13 or 14 books. So they'll be decorated nicely by next week, I promise. Again, the number 866-870-KRLA. KRLA. Let me take a quick commercial break, and then we'll get to your phone calls. 866-870-5752. Just Ah, puppy love. There's nothing better than puppy love and nothing better than puppy breath. Someone, I was saying that on the radio not too long ago. I love the smell of puppy breath, and people thought I should be put away. Hey, we are back on the Pet Show. The phone number 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. If you want to watch and see the face behind the mic, check out YouTube. We have a whole new setup. It'll be prettier next week, but the video is really nice. Just go to youtube.com/Warren Eckstein. The number here, 866-870-KRLA. Plenty of time for your calls. I got hugs and kisses to give away. Lots of Lucy pet food. Kitty Licky's back, copies of my best-selling books. I got those T-shirts to give away, so plenty of time for your calls. Lots of amazing stuff to give away as well. 866-870-KRLA. Let me get right to the busy phone line. Let me start out with Luis, then we're going to go to Dorothy. Hey, Luis, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for taking my call. Can you hear me?
Absolutely, Luis. It's like you're right next to me. What's going on?
Oh, I love it. So I have a miniature schnauzer, and every time we give him a bath, the dog goes crazy, scratching and chewing himself down to the skin. And I've tried all kinds of shampoos. The vet has given us like a monthly pill, but we just can't seem to get it right. Every time we give him a bath, the dog goes insane. I have to put a cone on his head to keep him from chewing for days. Any suggestions?
Yeah, well, first of all, that's kind of a weird behavior. It's not unusual for a dog to become really itchy and scratchy after a bath. But let me ask you a question. Mini Schnauzer, great breed of dog. I worked with the giant Schnauzers and the standards in Europe. Mini's great. But let me ask you a question. Is he an anxious dog, a nervous dog, or a calm dog?
No, he's pretty mellow. But after the shower, he goes crazy. He can't
and if you don't give him a bath, let's say you don't bathe him, he's fine and dandy, no anxiety, no chewing.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Okay, so no, one of the things I was going to bring up is that some dogs, when you take the scent off of them, they go a little nuts. So one of the things you might want to try to do, and it's not the people are going to say, "Come on, Warren, I'm taking the smell off, you're putting it back on," is take a towel before you wash him and just rub the towel over his body and put it off to the side. I was going to say maybe you should see a dermatologist, a veterinary dermatologist, but you're telling me that the only time he reacts, and you've tried all different types of shampoo, you might want to do this as well. You might want to have a quick conversation. You can probably do it online with a veterinary dermatologist, and maybe they can recommend there's some brand new things on the market. Maybe there's a medication that would benefit. But again, it doesn't sound to me like it's an allergy, only because you've tried so many different things. I'm assuming some of them are hyperallergenic, but I'm not sure. So a good conversation with a dermatologist would be important. The other thing I would do is, after bathing the dog, what I would do is take the towel with his previous scent on it, and if it is a behavioral issue, putting his scent back on would make it really different. And the third thing you might want to try as well is that if you find one item that your Schnauzer absolutely adores, I don't care what that is, one item that he loves, the only time he sees that is right after the bath. This way it may distract him. So I don't know at this point if it's an anxiety reaction or if there is literally something in shampoos that's causing your dog to have this reaction. That's why a quick call with a dermatologist is okay. But in the meantime, just to make sure that his skin and coat is going to be in the best shape ever, what I'm going to do, Louis, is I'm going to send you a jar of my own Hugs and Kisses supplement. And there's lots of ingredients, but let me just go over two of the most important ingredients for you. It contains lecithin and biotin. Lecithin and biotin together is like the gold standard. If you would go to a health food store, that's what they would recommend for your own body. So 3 things. Number 1, put the scent back on him. Number 2, find one item that he only gets for distraction. Number 3, have a consultation with a dermatologist to see if there's maybe something else you should be using at this point, and hopefully that'll resolve the issues. Does that help you out a bit there, Louis?
Yes, it did. Thank you so much. I'll try that.
Appreciate, no, Louis, what's your dog's name?
It's Charlie.
That was my father's name.
White Schnauzer.
Well, Charlie. And, have you always had Schnauzers? Is this the first Schnauzer you've ever had?
This is my second Schnauzer.
Yeah, they're amazing. People think when I was growing up, and you would never know, I didn't grow up in L.A., but it was kind of like Bronxy. And when I was growing It was amazing to me how everyone had wire-haired fox terriers, mini schnauzers were really, really popular back then. Yeah, not so much anymore, but it's a great breed. Anyway, don't go anywhere. I'm putting you on hold. The lovely Suzette will pick up, and we're going to send you a jar of my own Hugs and Kisses vitamin mineral supplement treats. The phone number here, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Plenty of time for your calls. Lots of great stuff to give away as well. Before we do this, what I want to talk about for a second or two is the importance of spending time with your dog or cat when they're doing nothing. I'm going to talk more about that a little bit later, but it's really critical that we do that. Hey, Dorothy in Hollywood, welcome to the Pet Show.
Thank you, Warren. I'm so excited to talk to you. I love animals, and I'm so concerned about, some of the ads I see where they're rescue animals that are so abused. And I'm wondering, what are the consequences for the people who own these animals? Are they fined? Are they jailed? What happens to them? It's so abusive.
It really varies. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, animal abusers, they should bring back the guillotine. That's as far as I'm concerned, because anyone that can abuse an animal can abuse a human. That's been proven psychologically over and over again.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is, a lot of times it's not taken as seriously. And I'll give everyone a prime example. When I was a peace officer in New York State, I prosecuted the first case of cat abandonment in America. It was a law on the ag markets that you cannot abandon a cat or a dog, but no one had ever taken it to court. It just so happened that a woman in front of me driving took a cat to a lot, threw the cat out, and her day was made because I was behind her. Anyway, the bottom line was we took it to court. I spent days and days talking to the judge, talking to lawyers, and the bottom line is the judge said, so she threw the cat out of the car. Is the cat okay? I said, yeah, I rescued the cat. She said, we'll charge her $50 and let her go. That's the problem. The legal people have to take it a whole lot more serious.
So there are no laws.
Oh, no, the laws are there. The laws are there. There are many, many animal abuse laws on the book. The problem is, are they being prosecuted to the fullest extent? In some cases, yes. I mean, there's some amazing humane officers out there that do a lot of work. They do really good work, but they have to work with the legal system, and that's where the problem comes into play.
I see, because it's so upsetting. So I wanted to ask you because I didn't know.
No, there's a lot of laws on the books. If you were to Google animal laws, you'll see a lot there. Anyway, what type of pets do you have, Dorothy?
I have a grand cat. Her name is Sammy.
Sammy the grandcat. You know what? You want to be the loved grandmother even more than before. I'm going to put you on hold, and I am going to send you kitty lickies. Give kitty lickies to your grandcat, and wait till you see what you get on Grandma's Day. I'm telling you, kitty lickies back in. God, I am so talkative today. What is going on with me? It was decaf, I swear. Phone number here at the Pet Show, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Someone called me this week. Actually, it was an interview I was doing. And often when people say to me, Warren, why do cats take their paw and move the water around before they drink it in many, many cases? And the reason for that is basically that, number one, is moving water means it's safe water. If it's water that's standing still, it could mean it's not safe, but that's just one of the reasons. And I was thinking about that this week, and one of the other major reasons that cats do that, instinctively, when cats were in the wild and they were going to drink out of a lake or a river or a pond, they would take their paw and they would swat it around to make sure there was no dangers around them, whether it be alligator or whatever type of snakes or whatever it was. So two reasons. Number one, to get the water moving. It means it's fresh. Number two, to get the water moving in case there was any other animal looking for them. Hey, the number here at the Pet Show, 866-870-KRLA. We've got a couple of open lines, pretty rare, 866-870-5752. A quick break, then right back to your calls. I'm Warren Eckstein. This is the Pet Show. And we are back on the Pet Show. Phone number here, 866-870-KRLA. Let me do this. I'm going to take a call from Bob. Bob calling from Arizona. Then we're going to go to, let's see, we have Vito. We have Bill. We're going to get to your calls. I got an open line or two. The number, 866-870-KRLA. I got some hugs and kisses. Kitty lickies, T-shirts, copies of my book to give away, so everyone that calls in will get a great gift. Before I do that, though, let me just talk a little bit about PTSD, okay? Because so many of you guys have adopted and rescued dogs. I'll make it short, but I just want you to understand that it does exist. Here's something I put together this week, and I want to share it with you. And by the way, this will go up on my YouTube channel as a short this week. So again, if you're not following YouTube, youtube.com/Warren Eckstein. Literally, there are hundreds of 1-minute tips, long videos. Don't laugh, but there are even videos of me when I was the creature keeper on the Mickey Mouse Club. That's right. And then anyway, check out youtube.com/Warren Eckstein. On a serious note, I want to talk about post-traumatic disorder, PTSD, or trauma from abuse. You know, abuse from pet guardians. And I'm going to use a different term. I'm going to say pet owners here. I use the term guardians for people like us that love animals. Abuse from pet owners or cruel breeders can cause long-term side effects on a dog's mental health. Perhaps you adopted a pet with a bad history. A dog used for fighting, raised in a puppy mill, or previously subjected to the hands of abusers may need to recalibrate its trigger responses. So sometimes when I would get a call from a dog that's reacting aggressively, it wasn't an aggressive dog. It was a dog just using its survival instinct. Sometimes it has to be recalibrated. That's what a lot of people don't understand. When you're working with PTSD and a dog specifically, you can recalibrate, but it takes patience and time, and it takes someone who knows what they're doing. Even retired police dogs or military dogs, which I have a lot of work with, can also experience depression as part of their PTSD. You know, they were working every day, now they're kind of home. Or perhaps you've rehomed a stray dog, and they can experience lingering depression or anxiety. Let me just say this for the record, okay? Having worked with as many number of dogs as I have and spoken to as many thousands of people as I have like you, PTSD is a real thing with our animals, with dogs and cats, and I'm assuming horses and other animals as well. But I'm going to focus on dogs and cats. So if you've adopted or rescued a dog or a cat with PTSD, bless you. Give it time, relax, be patient, and I promise you, one day you walk into the room and that dog or cat will look up at you with adoring eyes like you've never known before, just saying, thank you, I get it now, this is my home. PTSD, it's real, but they can get over it. So anyone that says, wow, you got to get rid of the dog or cat, PTSD, nothing's going to happen, get rid of them as a friend and keep the dog or the cat. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number. Who's up next here? We are going to Bob, calling from, I guess he's calling from Tucson, Arizona. Hey, Bob, welcome to the show.
I am. Hey, and I can't thank you enough for a time when I talked to you in about 2019 when my dog Buster, I had him about 13 years, and he was losing mobility in the hind legs, and your prescription with the NutriVet really helped the hip joint supplement with the MC glucosamine, and he took his booties off. He wasn't blooding his hind feet anymore, and that was great. I still have him, loyal, wonderful pet.
God bless him.
He's entering his last days, I believe, but he's October 12th, we put him in a walker because his hind legs were getting pretty weak, and the vet actually adjusted the walker so he could move his hind legs on the ground. He's been going to dog park and sniffing out pea mail and everything, and he's eating, he's drinking. I believe he may be coming either blind in one eye or has some cataracts because he's turning circles in his walker right now, and he does his business outside okay, even though in the walker. And I'm just wondering if you have any suggestions at all that might work with him. We're giving him also, a friend of mine is letting me use a green laser on some of his arthritic joints that he's had, and he's been on Previcox already for arthritis, but he's shown some blood in a stool as a
Well,
side effect of that.
I'm a big
we
fan
kind of discontinued that.
I'm a
But
big fan of cold laser therapy. I think it's great. Now, here's my scenario with the dog. Okay, you said something about the dog walking in circles, and sometimes when you have a dog that's walking in circles, it's not that they're losing sight or losing hearing. It could simply be a sign of doggy Alzheimer's or dementia. Walking in circles very, very common with senior dogs.
Okay.
So it could be some cognitive issues as well, and that's something you'd want to have a conversation with your vet about. Now, how old did you say the dog is now, Bob?
He should be, in fact, I think it's this week in 2009 I got him. And at the time, a doctor had said he estimated his age at 1 year and 9 months.
Okay, so now you're going to make me do math. Come on now, 20...
I'm bad.
23...
on 16 or so.
Okay, here's what I would do, okay? At 16 years old, you're working with your vet, which is great. Keep him as comfortable as you possibly can. Have a conversation with your vet. There are medications out there for cognitive issues with some dogs that they may want to use on your dog. But the fact that he's 16 years old and he's out there doing what he has to do, sniffing around and having a ball, fill out his bucket list, give him a hug and a kiss every day, and just be thankful when you wake up and he's there to smile at you.
Absolutely. Okay. I had his stats taken about maybe October 20th, and the vet was saying, I sure hope my numbers are as good as his when I'm that age. But
there you go. That is so good to hear. You got this miracle dog. You gave it a great life. It's given you every reason to have your great life and just a great relationship. And it's I'm so glad everything worked out and the arthritis isn't done. But speak to your vet about the circling, because sometimes circling could be a sign of dementia. It might not necessarily be. If it was a younger dog, I tell you how to use either a clicker or noises if the dog was really losing its vision. However, it's 16 years old. It sounds to me more likely it's a combination of the vision, but I think it might be something else kicking in. So have that conversation with your vet. All righty, Bob?
Okay, thank you so much.
Bob, don't go in. I'm going to put you on hold. I want you to be the first one in Tucson to wear one of my T-shirts that says, "None of my friends walk upright." Hey, the phone number here, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. That is the way to get through. Yeah, I know, Alex. I got to take a break. Gosh, he's like my school teacher. Bottom line, when we come back, if you've been one of those people that got up in the middle of the night or early in the morning to go into the kitchen and get a drink of water, and you stepped on kitty litter, not a good way to wake up. I'm going to tell you why, and it may not be your cat's fault. You know me, when in doubt, blame mom and dad. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number. A quick break, then right back to your phone calls. It's back. That's right. It is back. People have been saying, Warren, when is Gomez the dog. Hey, we are back on the Pet Show. Just before I want to get to the phones, listen, I've never done this before, but I want to share something special with you. This, by the way, is going to be the first and only time thepetshow.com, that's my website, the first and only time thepetshow.com is throwing a BOGO. That's right, buy one Nature Vet wellness product, get the second absolutely free. These are top quality pet supplements and wellness products at insanely affordable prices. Just select 2 Nature Vet products at thepetshow.com store and enter the code BOGO, B-O-G-O, at checkout to get your free item. Whether it's joint support, allergy care, or calming aids, Nature Vet has products for your pets, and thepetshow.com makes them affordable. Don't forget to enter the code BOGO at checkout. Good while supplies last. So go to thepetshow.com today. That's thepetshow.com. All right, let me get back to the phone lines here. We are going to, let's go to Vita in Santa Monica. Hey, Vita, welcome to the show.
Hi, good morning. About 3 weeks ago, a stray cat came to our yard, and I fed him, and he decided to stay with me. But what he's doing now is especially in the mornings, he's playful. He's about 6 to 8 months, male cat that has not been neutered. And he attacks my hands or my legs. And he locks his paws around my legs and he bites me.
Okay, what you need to do is you need to get someone to help you take this cat, trap him, have him spayed, neutered, vaccinated. And then and as long as he's outside, that human reaction is going to be a little different. There are some cats that are outside that make amazing pets right off the bat, but sometimes they react in a survival mode, which is exactly what's going on here. So in other words, is this a cat you would like to have as a pet?
I do. He's been staying with me like overnight. He stays. He sleeps with me, but when he wakes up in the morning, he wants to play with my arms, and he bites.
So here's what you do. Here's what you do. First thing when you wake up in the morning, even before you're awake, I want you to have a bunch of his toys with you alongside the bed. Take those toys, toss them all over your bedroom to get his mind off of you when he first wakes up. What he's doing is kittens, when they wake up, they reach a certain age, and that's how they react with each other. Kittens have fur. You don't, so it's going to hurt you. So I would definitely recommend distraction. Don't correct him. I want this confidence in this relationship to be super. So I don't want you to correct him at this point, but I want you to distract him in the morning. Also, just take a bunch of his toys and just as soon as you wake up, toss them off the bed, toss them on the end of the bed. This way, by the time you get up and walk around, he's relatively calm. The other thing that you may want to do is also, do you feed him first thing in the morning when you get up?
I have food out, so if you want food, there's food out.
Why don't you try this as well? I think probably what happens, the food's out, but cats like to eat sometimes too. So what I would do is maybe also have some food prepared. So as soon as you wake up, before he reacts, don't give him the food after he does something. Give him the food beforehand. That may help you as well.
Okay.
All right, I'm telling you, this cat's going to turn out to be your best friend. You need to do some socialization. Listen, don't go anywhere, Vita. You're in my hometown of Santa Monica. I'm going to put you on hold. I'm going to send you a copy of how to get your cat to do what you want. I hear a little frustration in your voice. No frustration, I promise you. Give him some time. Give him some patience. It will work out just fine for you, no doubt in my mind. All right, we're going to get to you, Bill. We'll get to you, Laura. We got a whole hour to go. Before we do that, though, let me just share this with you guys. Why does my cat make such a mess with their litter? I wrote this week. There are many potential reasons. First of all, you don't clean the tray often enough. The litter tray is too small for your cat. The average cat weighs 10 pounds. I've seen some of your cats a little bit more than 10 pounds. The box may be too small, and therefore they're going to kick it around. The litter tray may be too shallow. Yeah, that's a big problem. If the litter tray is too shallow, there's going to be litter all over the place. You might be overfilling it as well. If there's too much litter in it, the cat will react that way. Also, a lot of people think that it's okay to have one litter box for several cats. I suggest, it works, but I suggest one litter box per cat. This way it alleviates any territorial reaction. Or it could be that the type of litter that you're using is the type of litter your cat doesn't like. So there are many reasons they do it. Believe me, he's not getting up in the morning and say, what can I do? I want to kick this all over the place. But it could be that the tray is too small, too much litter, too little litter, too shallow. Follow the advice I just gave you. Get the right size tray. One tray per cat. And I promise you, when you get up in the middle of the night, you're not going to be slipping on kitty litter. Now, you laugh. You think this is not a big problem. You should see my emails. This is a problem for a lot of people. There's kitty litter all over my kitchen floor, kitty litter on my carpet. What do? Follow my advice. By the way, I'm also going to put this as one of my shorts this week on my YouTube channel. So check out youtube.com/Warren Eckstein. I'll go into a little bit more depth on that. Let me take a quick break. When we come back, Bill, Great question, Bill. Bill's going to want to know why his dog pushes his food around before he eats it. Laura wants to know why her dog runs away from other dogs. And also Lori has a 10-month-old rescue puppy, and he's tearing up boxes. Husband wants to get rid of the dog. Lori, I'm going to take your call, and I'm going to resolve your problem. I'd like to have your husband on the phone, because I think before you get rid of the dog, perhaps your husband should be put up for adoption. We'll talk about that. Continue answering all of your pet and animal questions. The phone number here, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. I'm Warren Eckstein. This is The Pet Show. And we are back on The Pet Show. Let's see if we can squeeze another call in before the top of the hour. Let's go to Bill in Westchester. Hey, Bill, welcome to the show.
Hi, I want to call you Dr. Eckstein.
You can call me. Well, Warren is fine. Warren is perfect. What's up, Bill?
I got my dog Gibson, he's like 16 years old, and he is just the most incredible little guy. He goes with me like three times a week. We go like 3 miles. He's 16 years old. He just got a blood panel, and his blood panel was almost perfect. The one thing he does, though, lately that's kind of strange is like when I put his food in his bowl, he'll kind of push his bowl around, or he'll nose some of the food around before he eats it, and then he eats, and then he pushes his bowl around and noses some more food and eats it. He's a great eater, but like he's developed this little quirk.
Oh, it's not really a quirk. What's happening is as he gets older, at 16 years old, his sense of smell is definitely changed. Pushing the food around is one of the ways they resolve that issue. So it's not unusual for an older dog that ate consistently out of its bowl to all of a sudden start pushing its food around. However, if it was a younger dog, it might be indicative of a dog that was brought up in a shelter situation or a dog that was brought up with a large litter. But when they get older and they start doing things like pushing their food around, there's a little dementia that takes place. But more importantly, in your case, it's just the fact that their sense of smell is entirely different, and putting their food a little further away from them gives them the opportunity to get a stronger whiff.
Oh, all right. Okay, that makes lots of sense.
You know, every once in a while, Bill, I do. Every once in a while, I make a lot of sense. Anyway, listen, Bill, I got to move on. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to put you on hold. And 16-year-old dog, you know what? What do you want? Do you want some hugs and kisses? Oh, of course you do. It's the most expensive thing I have. We're going to put Bill on hold, and he's going to get some hugs and kisses for his dog. Hey, the phone number here, 866-870-KRLA. I'm going to have to break for the top of the hour. When I come back, Laura, I promise you I'll take your call. And Lori, I'll try to save your marriage at the same time. Plenty of time for your calls. Lots of great stuff to give away. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number, 866-870-5752, or check out youtube.com/Warren Eckstein. I'm Warren Eckstein. This is The Pet Show. And if you love animals, care about wildlife and the environment, and want to find out why your dogs and your cats behave the way they do, maybe they're jumping or humping or digging or scratching, or your cat is keeping you up at night, peed on your bed, scratched your favorite chair. You get the idea. That's what we do here on The Pet Show and have been doing for over 43 years, is helping people resolve any issues that they may be having with their dogs or cats, and understanding why they're there and resolving them in a positive, upbeat way, and also helping our dogs and cats resolve any issues they may be having with the people they live in. Just a reminder that everyone that calls in and talks to me live on the show will get a great gift for their dog or cat. The phone number here at the Pet Show, 866-870-KRLA. That's 866-870-5752. Also, the question of the day, I forgot to ask it, is what is your dog or cat's favorite time of day? Your dog or cat's favorite time of day. Plenty of time for your calls. Lots of great stuff to give away. 866-870-5752. Let me go to Lori first. I'm going to go right to you, Laura, after that. So let me go to Lori right now in Santa Clarita. Hey, Lori, welcome to the show.
Hi, Warren. How are you?
I am doing fine, but gather from my computer that you're not doing so well. So let me see if I just could put a handle on this for a second. You have a 10-month-old rescued puppy. How long have you had him, and what type of puppy is he or she?
He is on the smaller side. He looks like he's partly part terrier of some kind. He's a lightweight dog. My son is a vet tech, and somebody who knew the office saw this puppy running around the streets with some big dogs and rescued him. Wasn't a good fit for that family, so they left him at the vet. My son brought him home. We all agreed as a family to take him in and give him a loving home. He is very affectionate. He's very obedient. He comes when he's called. He knows how to sit. He knows how to walk on a leash. The problem is when we're not watching, because we can't watch him 24/7. But when he's not watching, he's destroying boxes, getting into things.
And why do you think that is?
I personally think, I listen to your show every weekend, and I think it's, number one, he's young, has a lot of energy. I think he's bored and trying to find a way to entertain himself. Unfortunately, my husband, he jumps, so we have a barrier to block the other dogs from going into the garage so they can sleep in the laundry room.
Yeah.
He jumps over it into the garage, and my husband is not a very patient man, and he is saying that he wants to get rid of the dog and take him to the pound. And
well, let me just stop you right there. No. Well, here's what I'd like you to tell your husband. Get into the car, take the dog to the pound, and watch them kill the dog.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen. This puppy went from, you're already this puppy's second home. Didn't take the time to resolve the problem with the puppy. So now the dog's going to go to the pound. He's going to be adopted out. He's going to have the same problems that he has with you because they've never been resolved properly. And he's going to wind up being killed because no one took the time to resolve the issues. This is not a dog problem. This is a husband problem. And I love your husband. You got a lot of dogs, but let him hear me out.
We do.
Number one, it's a 10-month-old puppy. The puppy was running with a group of wild dogs. Wild dogs chew on things they find outside. They don't have rawhide bones. They don't have rubber toys and Playtex to chew on. The dog was probably born outside. Bottom line is, he went through a teething stage where his mouth hurt like heck. He had nothing to chew on but what was around. And also, what happens now is, even though he's 10 months old and the physical teething is over, there's something called latent psychological teething. And the reason they do that is because it's a way of alleviating stress. When a dog is chewing, it is a way of alleviating stress. So the reason your dog is behaving the way it is you're right, probably not enough exercise, probably the training's being done in a different way, and number three, there's not enough mental stimulation and socialization. Here's my problem, okay? And I'm not going to be a preacher, and I'm not going to get on the bandwagon, but it takes a special person to take a 10-month-old puppy into a shelter knowing that dog's going to be killed without taking 6 months, 7 months, or 8 months to resolve an issue. This is a chewing problem. To me, this is a dental cleaving. There's nothing better, nothing easier for a behaviorist or a trainer to resolve than excessive chewing. And the way excessive chewing is resolved is increased exercise, increased mental stimulation, rotation of toys, and some good basic training. That's how it's resolved. And it should be over in a short period of time. I think that you've had the dog now, and nothing's being done exactly the right way. So therefore, we're letting the problem fester. And the more it festers, the more difficult it's going to be. Now, I know I sound like an ogre here, and I know I sound tough here. But if anyone, and there are people out there that have spent the hours and weeks and days watching puppies, kittens, and dogs being killed simply because people did not take the time to resolve the issues with them, it would drive most people crazy. I say follow my advice, increase the exercise, rotate the toys, make sure the teeth and gums are in good shape, do your basic training, make sure the dog's getting the right stimulation, and if he chews up something once in a while, you know what? Tell your husband, take his credit card and go repeat and buy it again. It's not like he's chewing up cars, he's chewing up boxes. This is not a problem dog. This is a dog with a problem that can be resolved. Chewing, nothing better that I can do. Now, that all being said, if your husband would love to talk to me, you can have him call me anytime and I'll have the conversation with him. But I hope he understands. He may not be patient, but there's a difference between patience and having a dog euthanized. They don't go together. Patient means, I lost my patience with the dog. He's making me crazy. What can I do? Maybe I'll call a trainer. Maybe I'll call, let's receive. No. That's losing your patience. Losing your patience is not taking a dog to a shelter to have him euthanized. If the dog bit him 100 times, I'd still say no. But if the dog bit him 100 times, if the dog did other things that were so horrible, I would understand it. The dog's chewing. He's chewing to alleviate stress. Why is he stressed? Probably the way he's being treated in the household. Not bad, but we're not getting to the bottom line of alleviating. It's like what I was talking about earlier, PTSD.
Great. Yes. All of that advice is excellent, and I will share this, first of all, with my son and with my husband.
Yeah.
I recorded it, just so you know.
No, good.
Play it
Good,
for them.
good.
And this little doggy, his name's Logan, and he's literally laying at my feet right now, he is the sweetest, most loving little dog. And I'm so glad that you gave that advice, because I feel like it's just a matter of patience and
it is, and you know what?
He's going to be a wonderful, wonderful cat.
Just look at Logan. Look at your husband and say, listen, honey, if you were chewing, would Logan take you to the pound? Here's what I'm going to do. All joking aside, Lori, I'm going to put you on hold. I'm going to send you a copy of how to get your dog to do what you want. It's going to take a while to get there, but if you go to my website or my YouTube, there's some great articles on chewing. Tell your husband.
Thank you.
If your husband is not drinking, maybe he should start. Have him calm down, have him relax, have him understand that when the time comes and this dog turns around, which he will, I expect your husband to buy me a dinner.
Okay. I think that's fair.
All right. Anyway, listen, don't go anywhere.
Thank you, Warren.
Oh, thank you. I'm putting you on
Appreciate
hold. Speak to Suzette. It's a tough call, guys. You guys are making me sweat. What do you think? Does anyone agree or disagree with me? Come on, let me know. Give me a call. Anybody out there agree or disagree? I put my heart on the line there. I know how big the guy is. May come after me. Anyway, my heart said this is what I had to say, and I follow my heart, and always have. Phone number here at the Pet Show, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752, 866-870-5752. No one's going to bail me out on this one. No one's going to say, okay, Warren, that was a good discussion, or maybe you were too tough, or maybe you should have taken it easy, or maybe something. I'd love to hear from you. Come on, some of my rescues out there, give me a call. What do you think? You know, it's important that they hear the other side. A lot of people don't realize, well, I'm just going to take the dog to the pound, or I'm just going to take the dog to the shelter. They don't realize the end result there, especially in a situation like that where the dog is going to go from one home to another home to another home. It was a dog on the street. The dog lived on the street. He did what he needed to survive. He chewed on what he had to chew, probably cardboard boxes and paper bags. You know, I rescued Skylar. My dog, I no longer have. You know, my German Shepherd Skylar that I got from Westside German Shepherd Rescue was a street dog covered head to toe with blue paint when Denise and I adopted him. He was a chewer. I know what I'm doing. It took me a long time to get him to resolve some of his chewing issues as well. Patience. But it turns out when those issues are over and done with, you have just established an incredible state of nirvana between you and your best friend. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number, 866-870-5752. Lori, don't go anywhere. I'm going to get to your call. I do promise. I want to bring this up, and this is so important, and it kind of ties into what I was just talking about. Boy, am I talking a lot today, but that's okay. Be your dog's safe place. Listen to me carefully, and I want to hear from you guys as well. Remember, you are your dog's guardian and guide. When socializing your puppy or introducing a rescue dog to their new environment, be encouraging, but ready to take a step back if they seem unsure. It's a myth that you shouldn't comfort a scared dog. If your dog is afraid of something and looks to you for reassurance, always be ready to offer it. Just a statement from me. Always be ready to offer it. I get it. It's easy to get frustrated. The dog's chewing your shoe. I think I told the story once before, and I'll tell it once again. Here we go. Do you guys remember the Addams Family? Well, the guy who wrote the Addams Family was a really incredible guy named Charlie Addams. I knew Charlie Addams very well. The reason I knew him very well is because every year Charlie Addams, myself, Howard Cosell, I can't think of some of the other names right now, and a couple of the Kennedys would go out to the Hamptons on Long Island, and we would judge this rescue dog show for an organization which I still serve on the board with, the Bidewee Home, the oldest no-kill in the country. I'm not going to go there. Changed my mind. Phone number here, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752, 866-870-5752. Let me just kind of go back a little bit. Anyway, Charlie Addams was a collector of cars. He had a large collection of an Italian car worth hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars called come on, Warren, come up with the name of it. It was an Italian car. I can't think of the name. Anyway, he had 2 Labrador retrievers. The dogs chewed the bumper off of this car that he had. And that bumper was probably $10,000, $15,000, $20,000. Charlie called me and said, "Hey, Warren, this is what they did." I spoke with Charlie. He understood what went on. We resolved the issue. And even though it was a $10,000 bumper, the dogs lived happily ever after in the Addams Family. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number, 866-870-5752. Why are you guys bringing all these old stories back to my head? Anyway, let me take a quick break here. We'll get back to Linda, Colleen, Laura right after this. Lucy Pet Food. And
She was lived in a puppy mill for years until they rescued her. She's a little beaver terrier, very sweet, great dog. But when I take her out, the biggest thing she loves about her new life is going out on walks, exploring. But when she sees another dog, another neighborhood dog, somebody else walking, she'll turn the other way. She'll cross the street. Wants nothing to do with them. And
I might have missed something here. The dog came from where?
She lived in a puppy mill in Arkansas until she was rescued by an organization in Colorado.
Okay, so she was living in a puppy mill. Horrible situation, the worst thing in the world. Living in a puppy mill. And therefore, she never was socialized properly. She was living with a bunch of other dogs that were unsocialized, and therefore, the other dogs were probably very assertive or aggressive with her, and therefore the fear of other dogs. So this is a perfect example of what we call counter-conditioning or desensitizing. What I would do is I would find a friend of yours or a neighbor, put an ad in the penny saver if you're looking for an old, mellow dog with a mellow person. And what I would do is I would sit in front of your house on your stoop, have this person with an older, mellow dog that's known to love other dogs just walk by a couple of times with no reaction whatsoever. Then after a few times of walking by, maybe just stop and you have a conversation with this person and she walks away. The bottom line is if every time your dog sees another dog, specifically the dog that's relatively mellow, what's happening, it's ending in a positive note. So that's what we call counter conditioning, is taking something where the dog has a fear and turning it into something where the fear has dissipated. So it's going to take some time and it's going to take some patience, but that's what you need to do. And once you get them over the fear of one dog, then little by little, you could be with you. Maybe you can walk together with that other dog, and the other dog's confidence will rub off on them. That's how it works. Little by little, you can't force the situation, but I promise you, Laura, if you follow the advice I just gave you, he will come around.
Sounds great. We lost our 16-year-old dog a few months back, and they were best friends. She didn't have a problem with her.
That lets you know once she feels comfortable around another dog, then she's okay. And it was very possible that she felt comfortable around the other puppies that were in the horrible, horrible conditions with her at the puppy mill. But the bottom line is, little by little, they do come around. See, this is a perfect example where someone might say, well, the dog doesn't get along with other dogs, I'm going to give the dog away. And then the same thing. God bless you, Laura. God bless my East Coast listeners. What's the weather like, by the way, what's the weather like in Eastchester today?
Oh, it's ugly today, rainy and cold and gray.
My heart breaks for you. I'm sitting in Arizona at 72. My heart really does break. Anyway, Laura, don't go anywhere. Can I send you a T-shirt, a book? What do you want?
Oh, absolutely. I have all your books.
Well, you're getting a T-shirt then. I'm putting you on hold. Lovely Suzette will pick up, and a T-shirt will be on its way. I love my listeners. You guys are absolutely amazing. 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. That is the way to get through. Let me see who's up next here. Let's go to Linda in Anaheim. Hi, Linda. Welcome to the Pet Show.
Hi, Warren. Well, my story's not as bad as the bumper that was eaten, but the screens off my windows are all eaten.
Yeah, and I'm assuming you're blaming it on the dog.
Yes, we have a Labrador who's 3 years old. We've had him for 2 years. He was a throwaway from someone, and he's just the most wonderful dog, but he has anxiety when he's not with us when we put him outside. He just can't handle it.
So what we need to do is we need to build up his confidence outside. You have separation anxiety, but the opposite way. He's separation anxiety when he's outside, where most dogs have separation anxiety when they're inside. So here's what I would be doing at this point. Number one is when you let him out, don't make a big deal of letting him out. Don't make a big deal of letting him in. Just let him in and let him out. That's number one. Number two is before you let him out, what I would do is I would go into the yard and I would hide some of his toys, some of his treats, just put him around the yard somewhere. He can even watch you from the door when you do it. Then let him out in the yard for a couple of minutes. Let him come back into the house. Don't push it. Maybe 5-10 minutes at that point. Again, no big deal about letting him out or bringing him in. What I want him to understand is that when he goes outside, there's a lot of other things out there that are interesting besides you. My backyard has a tetherball in it. So there's a lot of things I put out there to make it interesting. The worst thing you can do is correct the dog by yelling, saying, bad dog. He's already anxious. That's why he's doing it. But if you start leaving a dog for really short periods of time, and if every time you end in a positive note, little by little, he will come around. Now, there are certain dogs that have real severe anxiety, and you got to work in conjunction with behavior and veterinary medical issues. But I don't think that's the case here. I think what we need to do is just build up this dog's confidence a little bit. Even when you're home with him, go into another room, close the door for a few minutes. So when you're home, I don't want him on top of you all the time either. Go out the front door, come in the back door, go out the back door, come in the front door. I don't think this is separation anxiety. I think what we have here is abandonment issues. And the fact that he was given to you, or you got him after 2 years, he was probably a dog that was kept outside. And the people he loved were probably inside. So therefore, when he's outside, he has all the stress and anxiety about coming back inside. Therefore, as I was telling the woman before, therefore the chewing as a way of alleviating the anxiety.
Okay.
You with me? You with me, Linda?
As soon as we put him out, I mean, he's going from window to window to look in to find where we are.
So before you let him out, how many people live in your family?
There are 5 of us.
Oh, I'll have somebody out in the backyard, so when you let him out, he's not focused on coming back in. He's focused on his buddy out in the other end of the yard.
Okay.
That's what you need to do. Every time he goes out, it needs to end in a positive note. Maybe before you let him out, have someone else out there so he's not so interested in getting back in, is going to play with someone he loves outside. Little by little, he'll come around. It's not going to happen overnight, but I guarantee one day you'll wake up and say, wow, I can have my dog in my screens. It's really not that hard. It's just a matter of giving it some time. And you have to have a sense of humor with a dog or a cat. You have to sense of humor with a significant other, believe me. So I'm sorry, Denise, if you listen.
For sure.
But the thing to remember is that never lose your patience. Just go out there, make sure you have one of his buddies or someone in the family out in the yard there when you let him out so they can go out and play. So when he goes out in the yard, he doesn't think he's always going to be by himself. For a while you're working, there's going to be someone out there that he knows and he feels comfortable with. How's that sound?
Okay, because we adore this dog.
I'm sure you do. I can tell. What's his name?
Yeah. Marley.
Marley. God, if I had $1 for every call I got with a dog named Marley. I just met a Marley in Arizona the other day. Anyway, listen, Linda, don't go anywhere. I'm going to put you on hold, and I am going to send you to keep Marley as healthy and happy as possible. I am going to send you some Lucy pet food. Yeah, Alex, I'm looking at the clock. I know I have to take a commercial break. The phone number here, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-57. I swear to God, if Alex could, he put an electronic shock collar on me. I know he would. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number, 866-870-5752. A quick break, and then right back to all of your calls. And listen, right now, And we are back on the Pet Show. The phones are jam-packed. Let me just share this with you, see what you think about it. Something, again, I put together this week. Yeah, I do things during the week. It's not just weekends, folks. And that's why that YouTube channel is so important. In fact, I'm going to share this as well. Training pets can go beyond changing their behavior. It can aim to improve an animal's ability to reason about what to do. Let's say a trainer teaches a dog how to navigate an agility course, for example, or how to get to a new pet door. Instruction involves understanding, whereas learning based on mere conditioning does not. That's the difference between training and conditioning. Training, introduction involves understanding, whereas learning based on conditioning does not. Important stuff to remember. All right, let me get back to the phone lines here. Let's see. We're going to let's go to Norman first in West LA. Then we got Audrey, we got Sue, we got Paula, we got Colleen. We'll get as many calls as we can. Hey, Norman, West LA, what's going on?
Hi, Warren. Thank you for taking my call.
So you have a chubby dog, huh? A chubby dog, Norman, I see.
I'm sorry?
I see you have a chubby dog?
I have a chubby dog, about 20 to 25% overweight. It's a mixed Pomeranian with Australian Shepherd.
Yeah.
And, he's supposed to be like maybe 31, 32 pounds, and he's about 38. And I'm a little bit concerned.
Yeah, well, you should be concerned because, the bottom line is just like with overweight, and 25% is an awful lot. Just like with overweight in people, arthritis and diabetes and all kinds of other problems can really kick in. So the way to get weight off, I'm assuming the dog is in good health. I'm assuming the weight is just from overeating and lack of exercise. If not, you'd have to speak to a vet. But in terms of getting a dog, one of the first books I wrote was a book called Pet Aerobics. It was an exercise book for dogs and cats, but it also incorporated diet. The best way to get food and a dog to lose weight is to feed them more frequently throughout the day. Not more food, actually less food, Norman, but more frequently throughout the day. So if you normally feed once a day or twice a day, if possible, smaller amounts of food 3 or 4 times a day. Even with human beings now, they suggest that smaller feedings are the way to go. Now, before you start an exercise program with the dog, make sure you get a good, clean bill of health from your vet and start off gradually. For example, maybe walking up a flight of steps instead of taking an elevator, or walking around the block, or going a different direction. So increasing the exercise a little bit at a time, not a whole lot all at one time, and decreasing the amount of food, but increasing the frequency, that could be beneficial. Also, replacing certain treats can be beneficial. For example, I have my dogs convinced that carrots are really liver. But the bottom line is, remember, not too many carrots either. They do have sugar. So I use a lot of vegetables as treats, which I think has really been helpful. And so the bottom line is the way to get the weight off, again, if the dog is healthy, is just increase the exercise a little bit at a time, feed more frequently, cut back on the amount of food, feed more frequently. I think that would be really beneficial as well. Now, is he on a diet food or is he on regular dog food at this point?
It's a Pomeranian. Purina Pro Plan. It's a high protein.
Yeah. Listen, your dog is not running the marathon. It doesn't need. Listen, can I change your food? Can I do that for you?
Please.
Norman, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to send you some Lucy pet food. Prebiotics, probiotics. Make sure his gut's working the right way. But here's what I want you to do. You can't switch all of a sudden. Take the food you're feeding, add a little bit of the Lucy pet food. Then the next day, take a little bit more of the food out, add some more Lucy pet food. First of all, he's going to love it because it's brand new to him. But again, smaller amounts, more frequently throughout the day, it's going to make all the difference in the world. If you give me a call back in a couple of weeks, once he knocks off a couple of pounds, and he's going to be happier, you're going to be happier, more importantly, he'll be healthier. So don't go in. I'm going to put you on hold. The lovely Suzette will pick up, and we're going to send you some Lucy Pet Formulas for Life, pet food on its way to you. Audrey, Granada Hills, welcome to the Pet Show.
Hi, Warren. Oh, it's so good to talk to you. I haven't talked to you in a while. Let me tell you what's going on. I rescued little Angel, and I love her. I rescued her April 15th, actually, last year, and I love her. She's wonderful, except I have one problem with her. She goes potty in the house when I'm not here if I'm gone for certain lengths of time. And I know, what you've said in the past about putting food down, but she'll go like in the hallway. And I can't, with Suki, I don't know if you remember little Suki or not, but with her, I had a doggy door and she was confined in the kitchen, which is big. But this little one, I can't put a doggy door because she's little, and I don't want to put her outside when I'm not here.
Of course you don't. But what was? I don't understand the situation with putting food in the area. What was the problem with that?
Well, because she would go in different places, and it's always around the hallway area.
All right, so here's what you need to. This is easy to resolve. What you need to do is you need to clean up the hallway properly with a good stain and odor remover. Make sure.
By the way, what do you recommend, Warren?
I don't recommend a specific one. I used to. I don't recommend. Here's what happens. These companies really get big, and then they sell. This company sold to that company. This company sold to that company. So once I lose, I don't have the not the control, but I don't have the ability. I'm not recommending any stain and odor. In fact, I'm looking for a good stain and odor remover to bring on the show because I get more and more people asking me about stain and odor remover. So if you know a good one, then let them contact me because I'm very careful. I had 2 I turned away within the last month, so it has to be the right one, and I'd love to bring them on the air, and they do quite well. So here's the bottom line. Number one is I want you to make sure you thoroughly clean up any of the good stain and odor neutralizers that are enzymatic would work at this point. Not just
May I ask you a question? May I ask you a question? One, is that okay?
Which one?
Because you used to recommend it.
Which one?
Are you still okay with Nature's Miracle, which is what I've got?
I introduced Nature's Miracle when it first started out many years ago. Then it was sold to one company. Then it was sold to another company. Then it was sold to a battery company, and I don't even know who owns it now anymore. So I don't know. If it's good, the people use it, they like it, yeah, it's no problem. You go ahead and use it. I don't know if they changed the formula or they didn't. I can't put an endorsement on that. But what I want you to do, number one, is after you've cleaned up that area, what I want you to do is I want you to start spending more time with the dog in that area. That is critical. Now, in terms of the food, it doesn't have to be the food. It could be some toys as well. I don't care if the food's there. Take some paper plates and just rub the food on it so the smell is there. That's what you need to do at this point. Now, remember that she's pooping because you're gone, not because she wants to get yelled at, not because she thinks she's doing anything wrong, but by leaving that scent there, it's her way of saying maybe I can get her, Audrey, to find her way home. So, using the food, spending more time in that area, cleaning it up, and I promise you that your hallway or your entranceway will be fine. It's going to take some time and some patience, but you have my number. You know how to get in touch with me.
You know that I will. All right, I'll try all that. Now, let me just make sure, and I know you got other questions, but I just want to go over this really with you because she's really a sweetheart. And let's see here. Thoroughly clean up the area, but even though she goes back to that same spot, is when you use whatever you use, whether it's whatever it is, but she still goes back. When you use something, is it supposed to mention so they never go back?
No. That's not the idea at all. That's where everybody goes wrong. They think they put stuff on the floor, and they put it on the floor because if they put it on the floor, the dog's not going to go in that spot. So the dog goes, now I'll go to another spot. No, we need to neutralize the odor. There needs to be no odor whatsoever. That's what we need to do. So this stuff that says if you put it here, the dog won't pee here, he's going to pee somewhere else. Spend more time just sitting on the floor or sitting on a chair in that area with him. That's important as well. Put all those pieces together. Let's see where we are in a couple of weeks. We'll go further.
I'll call you if I.
Call me, Audrey. You know how to get in touch with me. Let me take. Man, you guys are break. I'm working my butt off today. Phone number here: 866-870-KRLA 866-870-5752. Has anyone ever moved recently? Let me tell you. If there's one thing I never want to see again in my life, is anything made out of cardboard. It should be banned as far as I'm concerned. I don't want to see cardboard again in my life. But I got to tell you, I'm glad that I'm going to be going back and forth an awful lot, but I'm glad to spend more time back in Arizona. It's a great state. Phone number 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Quick break, then right back to your calls on Warren Eckstein. This is The Pet Show. You didn't think I'd catch that, did you, Alex? The Addams Family theme there. I'm sorry, I thought it was the Addams Family. Shows you how much TV I watched. Pink Panther. We're back on the Pet Show. Let me just share this with you because it's never happened before and it's never going to happen again. This is the first and only time thepetshow.com, that's my website, thepetshow.com is throwing a BOGO. That's right, buy one Nature Vet wellness product, get the second one free. These are top quality pet supplements and wellness products at insanely affordable prices. Just select 2 Nature Vet products at thepetshow.com store. Enter the code BOGO at checkout. Get your free item. Whether it's joint support, allergy care, or calming aid, Nature Vet has the products you need at thepetshow.com. Make them affordable. Don't forget to enter the coupon code BOGO at checkout. Good while supplies last. Just a reminder, when we get off the air here, if you're out there driving around or if you're on the line now and I don't get to your call, when I get off the air here, my day isn't done. I'm doing 2 more hours for Radio America, Armed Forces Radio Network, and hundreds of affiliates across America. So in a few minutes, I'll give you that phone number. So if I don't get to answer your question now at 1 o'clock Pacific time, 1 o'clock Pacific time, you can start calling the number I'll give you in a little bit. Same type of show. I answer the same type of questions. I give away the same prizes. I'll give you that number in a little bit. But right now, let's go to Colleen in Cerritos. Hey, Colleen, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you so much for taking my call.
Hey, it's my
we
pleasure.
have a stray cat problem.
Yeah.
And I have rescued 8 cats. My neighbor rescued 11. We've had them fixed, adopted them out, kept some. But we thought the problem was over, and we were happy that we had helped out. And then about 2.5 weeks ago, a beautiful blue-eyed Siamese-looking cat appeared in my front yard, and it's pregnant.
Yeah.
So I can't take any more in. I've exhausted my resources, like in terms of who I can adopt them out to and how I can care for them. The neighbor has done the same. We're talking. We're trying to fix this problem.
Is it a mellow cat, a nice cat?
It seems to be. I mean, all of the stray cats that we've helped out, they're very tentative and kind of fearful. But once you love them and give them food and care for them,
Colleen, here's the situation. Okay, it's very difficult, and I often wonder why I don't, but I can't give out adopt animals over the air because for me to adopt, I can't tell if the people are good people or bad people or should or shouldn't have the animal. So here's what I'm going to recommend that you do. Okay. I probably know the same exact shelters and rescues that you called that are all full. I mean, the shelters are over. It's just unbelievable what's going on at the shelters in LA right now. I would call them every day. But the only thing I can do to help you out, okay, if there are any of my cat rescues out there listening, please send me an email at mail@thepetshow.com, mail@thepetshow.com, if you can kind of help Colleen with this specific cat. Colleen, if you can send me an email also at mail@thepetshow.com with a little information on the cat. No guarantees, and everyone's inundated, but that's about the best I can do. And hopefully maybe finding either an individual or you would have to screen them or finding a group that can help you out. And bless you for what you do. People are just so unaware of the amount of work that's being done by small groups and individuals like yourself saving these animals or using your own dollars and everything. And that's why my Hugs and Kisses Animal Fund is there, is to help these people. But send me an email, mail@thepetshow.com, if any of the groups out there have an opening or if there's any individual looking perhaps to rescue a pregnant cat and need some help, send me an email too. We'll try to put you together. How's that sound, Colleen?
Thank you so much. I just have a quick question.
Sure.
We haven't called shelters because we're afraid they're going to kill them.
Yeah.
So, that's why we've taken on the responsibility, us and myself and the neighbors.
And the shelters, and if you looked at the shelters, every shelter is just so overrun right now.
They are.
The amount of animals that are just that you're going to bring, it just breaks my heart, and there's no reason for it. It just breaks my heart. Anyway, Colleen, stay in touch. I'm going to send you some cat food for your cats, but I want you to send me that email. If someone does contact me, I'll see if I can put you. No promises, but I'll try my best.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Colleen, don't go in. I'm going to put you on hold. We're going to send you some Lucy pet food for your cat. A quick break, then we'll try to get a few more calls. Now, by the way, that number for the national show, if I do run out of time, don't start calling till 1 o'clock, but at 1 o'clock you can start calling. That number is 877-725-8255. 877-829-5255. And my LA callers will be first because the rest of the country doesn't hear the show until 5 after. So if you start calling at 1, you'll be on. 877-725-8255. Listen, I'm bragging. All right, so here's the deal. Sue, I love your call. Sue wants to know if she's giving her golden doodles some hugs and kisses, one scratching. Sue, do me a favor. I don't want to rush you. And the same thing with you, Paula. You got a great call. Write this number down, 877-725-8255. I got your names written down. So if you start calling that number at 1 o'clock, please be patient. It goes into Washington, D.C., to Radio America. So start calling at 1 o'clock. You guys will be my first two callers on the air if you start calling at 1 o'clock. So you'll have to wait for 5 minutes, but I don't want to rush you. You got a great call, Susan, with the golden doodles, and Paula has a perfect dog, but she goes crazy with some other dogs. Very common problem. I want to make sure we confront that as well. So thank you again. I hope you enjoyed the YouTube this week. It's a lot better. It'll be increasing every week. I'll even put some pretty stuff up behind me. If you're not subscribing, please go to my YouTube channel. I think you'll enjoy it. A lot of information, a lot of fun. It's simply youtube.com/Warren Eckstein, youtube.com/Warren Eckstein. Speaking of that, until next week, give all your pets a big hug and a kiss for you, one between the ears for me. I'm Warren Eckstein, and thank you again for listening to The Pet Show.